All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 93 of Pozios Picks. In today's episode, I'm going over my favorite plays of this week 4 college football slate. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. The first game I'm going to go over, Friday night college football. Air Force is going to San Jose State. San Jose State are 5-point underdogs at home, and the total for this one is set at 46.5. Air Force is a team we've been on a lot in these first few weeks, and they've been really good to us. Even though they haven't had the best competition, Air Force comes into this game with the number 1 overall defense in the country in terms of yards given up. And of course, boasts the best running attack in the nation with over 320 rushing yards per game this year. Air Force runs the option extremely well due to the fact they keep defenses on their toes with some deep shots at times. With San Jose State having the 108th ranked rushing defense, I think the option completely wears them down here, and the Falcons do enough to cover the spread in this one. Give me Air Force minus the 5 on the road here. The next game on the slate, we are on to Saturday. Rutgers goes to Ann Arbor to take on the Michigan Wolverines. Michigan are 24-point favorites at home, and the total is set at 44.5. Michigan opens up Big Ten play here with Rutgers at home, and of course the big storyline in this one is the return of Coach Jim Harbaugh. Michigan has struggled a bit so far this year, going 0-3 against the spread, and really looking stagnant on offense at times. With the return of Harbaugh, I expect them to come out fired up, and even though Schiano has had the Rutgers defense looking solid, I don't think they have any answer for Michigan in this one. I think they push the pace early, they make a statement in Jim's first game back. Give me Michigan first half, minus 13.5, and Michigan game, minus 24. The next game on the slate, a big-time ACC matchup. Florida State is going to Clemson. Clemson are 2.5-point underdogs at home, and the total is set at 55 in this one. This is a game I've had circled since before the season started, and it is finally here, but with some question marks for both of these teams. They've both had good games, they've both had questionable games, and at times they have really struggled, especially on offense. In a game like this, though, I think you have to throw all of that away and really just focus on what we have in front of us. With that being said, I think Florida State is the better team in this game, and for that reason, my play is going to be Florida State moneyline. Even though they're going on the road, the defense has shown that they're going to be able to stop dynamic offenses, and Clemson's hasn't been much of that this year. If Florida State can contain the run and limit Will Shipley, I think they provide their offense with more than enough stops to get it done, and I don't trust Cade Klubnik having to come from behind, even at home. The Seminoles make a statement in South Carolina, Florida State moneyline. The next game on the slate, Colorado is going to Oregon. Oregon are 21-point favorites at home, and the total for this game is set at 71. Here we go again. The last time I did this, things ended up really bad for me, but I really think Oregon takes care of business here. Now, I do think Colorado is going to look much better this week than they did last week. They will be more prepared and focused, kind of back in that underdog role. But ultimately, I think the loss of Travis Hunter is going to have a much bigger impact than people think, and as this game goes on, it's going to weigh on Colorado. I know he's only 1 out of 11, but he provides so much for this team, and with him not being there, especially on defense, I think Bo Nix can have his way all game long. I've got a couple plays for this game. The first one is going to be Oregon first half, minus 12.5. Like I said, and like the total is telling us, there's going to be a lot of scoring here, especially by Oregon, and I think they should be up at least 2 touchdowns once halftime rolls around. The other play for this one is going to be Bo Nix over 312.5 passing yards. With Travis Hunter out, I think it is open season for the Ducks in Eugene. The next game on the slate, Ole Miss is going to Tuscaloosa to take on Alabama. Alabama are 6.5-point favorites, and the total for this one is set at 55.5. Alabama has not looked good whatsoever in their past 2 games. Obviously, with the loss to Texas, then they go on the road and only beat USF 17-3. But this is a different game, and I think the line is telling us a lot about what they think is going to happen here. Ole Miss has had a great start to the year, especially on offense. They're averaging 526 yards per game so far. So you have Ole Miss, who has looked good, and Alabama, who's looked bad. And Alabama's still a touchdown favorite. I don't care if they're at home, on the road. It's a little bit fishy. I think we've seen this story before countless times. Saban against a former assistant at home. The players are going to be locked in because they know what's being said about them. They had that big players-only meeting. Milroe back into the starting spot. I think Alabama comes out and they roll in this one. I think Jalen Milroe really opened some eyes. He's locked back in. And I think the defense shuts down in Tuscaloosa. Give me Alabama minus the 6.5 at home. The next game on the slate, some more SEC action. Arkansas is going to LSU. LSU are 17.5-point favorites, and the total for this one is set at 55. LSU has bounced back really nicely after dropping that Week 1 game to Florida State, and the offense looks like it's back to firing on all cylinders behind the play of Jaden Daniels. Arkansas is still a solid team, but in their first taste of real competition last week, they lost to BYU at home as a 9-point favorite and gave up 38 points. I think this is a great game for LSU to really get back on track and start their climb back up to the top, and I think it starts on the offensive side of the ball. My play here is going to be LSU team total over 36.5. I think the Tigers show an efficient offense at home as they prepare for 2 tough road games. The next game on the slate, Texas is going to Baylor. Baylor are 15-point underdogs at home, and the total in this one is set at 51.5. Texas really sleepwalked through their game against Wyoming last week. I mean, they were tied in the fourth quarter, and I think that was because they weren't really trying to show much to their conference opponents as they take their last tour through the Big 12. I've been really low on Baylor all year, especially because of what they bring on offense, and even though this is a in-state rivalry game at home, as this game goes on, I don't think they have nearly enough to keep up. I think Sark and Texas are on a mission to squash everyone in the Big 12 one last time and prove why they are the ones that get to go to the SEC. Texas minus 15.5 is my play in Waco. The next game on the slate, Ohio State is going to Notre Dame. The Irish are 3-point underdogs at home, and the total for this one is set at 55.5. The main event of college football on Saturday. This one should be awesome. This game's going to tell us a lot about both of these teams. Was bringing in Sam Hartman really what Notre Dame needed all this time? Or will the Ohio State offense still be too much for the Irish? Even though they have looked much better in their past couple games, Ohio State has still been a little shaky in my opinion, and in a game like this, I think the shakiness is going to show. Notre Dame's experience on defense should really help them limit the Buckeyes, especially with the inexperience of McCord. This is his first true big game on the road at Notre Dame. If Notre Dame can truly take advantage of that, I think the solid play of Hartman and Estime allows the Irish to control this game and eventually pull out the win. Give me Notre Dame moneyline at home in what should be the game of the day. The last game I'm going to go over, Iowa is going to Penn State. Penn State are 15-point favorites at home, and the total in this one is set at 40. If you love points, do not watch this game. A Saturday night whiteout in Happy Valley, and these are two of the better defenses not only in the Big Ten but in the country. Iowa, for yet again another season, has been lackluster on offense, and with the strength of the Penn State defense, I think you see a lot of punts and field goals for the Hawkeyes in this game. With that being said, my play here is going to be the Iowa team total under 12.5. If we see 13.5 closer to game time, I'm obviously going to jump on that, even with the juice that it's probably going to have. But regardless, this Penn State defense has been great all season, and I think with the sold-out crowd at home, it's going to be really tough for Iowa to move the ball. Iowa team total under 12.5. That is going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. We really appreciate it. Before we get out of here, though, I just want to say a couple things. Number one, be sure to follow us over on Pickett. We are always dropping free plays for you guys over there, so be sure to follow us there at Pozios Picks. Pickett's also a great app to track all of your bets. Also, be sure to follow us over on SoBet. You can find the SoBet link in our bio. SoBet is a premium betting content service, and we'd really appreciate if you guys headed over there and showed us some support there. Some of the best betting content there is, really exclusive stuff, and if you're gambling consistently, it's a great place for you to see a lot of different picks and a lot of different sports. So be sure to follow us there. Use our promo code Pozios when you sign up. And lastly, we dropped some new merch for the fall. You can see some of it up on the screen here. Some Q-zips, some new long sleeves, and a bunch of other new accessories. So be sure to check those out. We'd really appreciate you guys buying some merch and supporting. Thank you guys so much again. Good luck to everyone on your Week 4 college football bets. And we will see you guys in the next one. Peace.